you have a lot of content online about improving testosterone levels.
Yeah.
Right? You seem like you've cracked some of these codes on this, man. So what would you say some of the things?
So the main thing to understand is that this wasn't an issue 40 years ago. The average man 40 years ago had healthy levels of testosterone, total 600, 700 nanograms per deciliter. It's dropped 40% since the 80s. So that's a big drop.
That's a big drop.
And 40 years is nothing. Something's going on. And there's all these certain reasons why T levels are falling dramatically. Yes, if you have excess body fat, if you're not active, if you're having poor nutritional diet, that's going to work against you. But it's even beyond that.
In my mind, I think body fat's the biggest culprit because people are fatter.
That's the number one. But even if you control
for
body fat levels, there's still a big drop in testosterone. Even if you control for body fat. Control for that.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
So your waistline is inversely correlated with testosterone. So the 100%. More excess fat you have, the lower your T is, the higher your levels of estrogen. All these endocrine disruptors in the environment, in food and water, phthalates, people that are wearing high amounts of fragrance, perfumes, colognes, body washes, scents, disrupt your body's ability to produce testosterone. Even a lot of young teenagers will suck on the vape a lot, which has lots of endocrine disrupting chemicals. So there's a lot of things in the environment working against you. It can be fixed. It can be solved. There are some cases where people can't return their levels, but most of those times, those people, they never even got lean. They just were 30, 40 pounds overweight.
What are some things people do?
You don't want to get too lean. Like if you're trying to get the 5% body fat, there's a sweet spot for sure. So 10, 12% body fat's great. Anything over 15% is going to drop your T levels quite a bit.
Yeah, and every percentage it drops more.
Yes, and like where things get really bad is take your height. Let's say someone is 6 feet tall, which is 72 inches. If your waist is over half of your height, so 36 inches, take a tape measure, put it around your belly button.
Yeah.
If it's over half your height, then you're really cramping down your T production.
That's a fact.
You also must get strong. When you train and you lift weights, yes, you're building muscle and you're triggering an increase in muscle, but you're also triggering your body to release testosterone. If all you're doing is going to your job, going in public transport, driving to work, if all you're doing is sedentary, your body doesn't have that stimulus.
You got to give your body a reason to produce testosterone, right?
Yeah, give it a reason to lift some heavy weight and push yourself. Now, of course, number 3 is you need amazing sleep. It makes a massive difference if you're getting suboptimal sleep. And even you can be in bed for 8 hours, but if you have electronics on, lights on in your room, maybe you have street lights and you don't have any good blinds, all that light's going to disrupt your sleep. A lot of people will do edibles or smoke weed at night to fall asleep. It absolutely messes with your REM sleep, and as well, it blunts your dopamine system. So the very powerhouse that makes you want to work hard, that gets you hungry to work towards that goal, that gets you motivated and energetic, gets broken down when you're smoking weed. And we all know this. Even my uncle was telling me, my father, and he became extraordinarily successful. My uncle was over at the house and my father saw him smoking weed and he's like, this shit makes you dumb. I pushed marijuana to the limit. I did.
You pushed it to the limit.
I pushed it to the limit. I did the edible at night and then I did it again. And then all of a sudden, I needed to fall asleep. And for months and months straight, I had the edibles and I still worked hard. I put in the work, and then slowly over several months, I would do videos. And I'm like, why was I so shit on video? I'd be writing a new program. My dopamine's fine. I'm writing a program. I'm having a blast. I'm loving it. I'm writing this program. It's so fun. It'd be like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could feel it. I think for anyone listening, just audit what you're doing. Test it. Take a month, take 2 months, 3 months. Don't touch weed. See the difference. Touch it. But the thing is that, sure, maybe you're young, maybe you're 24, maybe you smoke weed every night and you don't see the cost. This is why marijuana is so dangerous. If someone's going off and ripping every weekend, they're going to feel the cost. If they're going into very hard drugs, they're going to feel the cost. They're going to understand the problem. Marijuana will sneak up on you and it will take time and you won't even know it's the marijuana. Anything that kind of artificially gives you sort of a dopamine hit, it pulls something from you too. Whatever it kind of gives you, it takes. I'm having this fun night. I feel great. I'm watching this movie. It's so fun. And then the next day, you're missing that je ne sais quoi. Alcohol also can impair your sleep. And then especially heavy alcohol consumption will drop testosterone. I'll have maybe 2 drinks twice a week. I enjoy tequila.
You like to drink.
Yeah.
At least that's what I remember. Because I think when we first met, I drank too.
I think in my mid-20s, I didn't really drink or party much when I was 19 to 23. And then my mid-20s, I definitely had some fun.
Greg would go at the bar and drink. He would order Manhattan, right? That was his drink.
Yeah, that was my drink.
And that's all alcohol.
Pure.
No mixes, all Greg is too back Manhattan.
Yeah.
I mean, he never got like fucking crazy or nothing wild, but I remember this kid could drink, man.
For guys getting hammered once or twice a week, you're definitely pumping the brakes on yourself.
Yeah. What can they do to raise it?
Heavy lifting, sprinting, the best forms of exercise to increase testosterone. Now, it's important to state that overtraining is just as bad for testosterone as not training at all. So if you're overdoing it, even, for example, a lot of people, if they're doing cardio, they like to do the beta boy biking. Are you on the bike?
That's like the only cardio I do.
Okay, people love the bike, but it's been shown to like reduce sperm count and lower testosterone.
Because of the weight of the seat.
It kind of crushes. It's too much pressure. You're not really meant for it. If you have a good seat,
got two dykes in here.
But like, those biker seats that
that shit'll fuck your balls up.
That's not good. So if you get the good seat, you're fine. But if you're training for a marathon, doing excess amounts of chronic exercise, it actually can lower your levels. I actually had a friend that was training for a marathon and triathlete stuff, and their levels went down a lot.
Yeah.
So you want to train heavy and intense, and you want to take rest, even if you're sedentary, right? So if you're getting less than like 5,000 steps a day, your levels are a lot lower. Hunter-gatherer ancestors walked 16,000 steps a day, which is a lot.
That's a lot.
But I recommend get 10,000.
Yeah, at least.
At least. I'll do 14,000 when I'm really getting chiseled. So you want to optimize your sleep. You also want to get vitamin D status.
Vitamin D, yeah.
So the thing about vitamin D, though, is that if you're getting it from the sunlight, it depends on the angle of the sun. So the sun angle's too low, you can actually burn without getting any vitamin D. So I actually use an app called D-Minder, and it fluctuates, and like there's peak times where you can get vitamin D.
What is the peak time?
Around like 12:30 to 2. So some MIT scientists created a sort of app based on where you are, time of the year, location, to kind of find out when. And it's interesting because sometimes you think, I'm getting vitamin D, but no, the angle's low.
UV. And what about supplementation?
There's a handful of supplements that support T production, and there's a bunch that don't work. So a lot of like the horny goat weed and maca root and tribulus and stuff like that, it can improve sex drive and it can have some tangible benefit, but it's not increasing testosterone. Even fenugreek, people talk about fenugreek because it can raise testosterone, but it does so by lowering DHT, and DHT is actually more powerful, more androgenic than testosterone. You're kind of getting more T, but you're losing out on something a bit more powerful. Vitamin D, you can supplement it for sure. That's good.
I think it's real important I just want to say this, for like people of color to supplement with vitamin D, because our skin was made to be outside all day next to the equator and shit. And most of us are living like that, especially if you live in Chicago or New York or something. You're not getting any sun exposure, right? The melanin is blocking it, right? So it's super important. This is why, like, during C19, there was such high rates in the Latino and Black community, because vitamin D has been shown, just 2,000 IUs of vitamin D supplement a day has been shown to be just as effective as a flu shot.
Yeah, there's so many chronic illnesses that are linked to low vitamin D status. Even in Canada, we have higher rate of multiple sclerosis. There's a lot of people doing these different health hacks, spending loads of money, going and doing NMNs and NAD IVs, and it's like, the simplest thing you can do is just get in more vitamin D. The other minerals that are really helpful in testosterone production is, one, if your zinc levels are low. If your zinc levels are low, your T production and your immune function are going to be lower.
I take zinc every day.
Zinc is really, really great. And you have to be careful. Like, if you take too much zinc, it can lead to a copper deficiency by like 15, 25 milligrams a day. Usually is totally safe. Vitamin K helps sort of move calcium into your bones and teeth. Yeah. Vitamin K2. So K2 is really, really good. And it's also great for, dental health. Now, next is magnesium. Magnesium, actually, it's a very common deficiency. It's hard to get high amounts of magnesium these days. And the micronutrients in foods and soils have gone down. So you're not getting as much. And so magnesium is also great. And anytime you're dealing with something, some people have anxiety, poor sleep, depression, and they want to, let me take an anxiety drug. Let me take a sleep drug. It's like magnesium can solve a lot. It's amazing for mood. It's amazing for sleep. It can support anxiety. And so magnesium has also been shown to increase total testosterone production. Really? In athletes and sedentary people. Zinc, magnesium, and then third is boron.
I take ZMA every night.
Yeah.
But I've been doing that for years.
Good. Oh, it's good. It's good. The other mineral, it's interesting because taking more than you require has been shown to increase free testosterone, and it's sort of anti-estrogenic, is boron.
Boron.
It's a mineral that helps increase free testosterone, and it's you can take 6 milligrams, and then there's all kinds of herbs. So you got ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is sort of an adaptogen, helps your body regulate stress. The only thing, because I don't use ashwagandha, the only reason why is that it is linked to, some people don't notice this, a lot of people do if you Google ashwagandha side effects, but it's sort of linked to reduced ability to experience pleasure.
Really?
Yeah, it kind of makes you a bit more like cut off and numb. So some people take it when they're going through something really stressful. They take it once in a while.
Because it blunts the feeling.
It blunts your feelings. Ashwagandha, you can use it short term. I don't like to use it, every day, because I find I like that je ne sais quoi. I like to
I never heard that.
Come off it, see if you feel a difference.
Yeah.
There's also Fedosia, which Huberman's talked about, which can help increase T production, and it's supposed to be pretty powerful, but it's sort of a little too early to take it. It's still linked to like toxicity in the testes. So it's one of those ones where, again, we're like, if you're going to take it, you got to be like careful, and you want to cycle that off for sure.
Yeah.
And then you have like the Tongat Ali, I think is probably the most powerful.
What?
Tongat Ali.
What's that?
It's a herb from Southeast Asia. It's been shown to support T production and athletic performance, body composition. Tongat Ali is really powerful. And then the last one is Forskolai, which comes from the mint family, which interestingly enough, mint tea, if you were to drink mint tea, it actually lowers testosterone.
Really?
Mint lowers testosterone. The actual Forskolai is from the mint family, but it actually increases free testosterone. It's anti-estrogenic, and it also can support, it's been shown to help support fat loss too. So those are like the 2 herbs, Tongat Ali, Forskolai, zinc, magnesium, boron, that I really like. There's some other stuff that is sort of more preliminary that people are looking into. Those are the main ones.
But all this is a moot point if you're too fat. Like, it's not really going to help that much.
Yeah, you know what though? I do notice this link where, let's say someone is overweight, they start taking these things. It can be a little kickstart that makes them want to, sure, if you just stay 40 pounds overweight and you do this, you're really scratching the surface. A lot of times when you add these things in, whether it's physiological or psychological, maybe you do get that little boost. Because here's the thing, you probably enjoy lifting heavy weights.
Yeah.
Like it probably feels good to you.
Yeah.
So one thing that can happen is if a man, they do some natural steps to get their T up, all of a sudden they never really cared to go and hit the gym and work hard. Now they have this motivation. I have a loved one very close to me, and he just didn't really have that much motivation. All of a sudden he started doing some of these steps I'm talking about, started taking the Mojo concoction, and then all of a sudden started changing his diet around. Started hitting the gym. Now he's going on some dates and he's putting himself out there.
Yeah.
It was like a kickstart where it's like, because testosterone, right? It does a few powerful things, but one, it helps you handle risk better, right? If you want to go and put yourself out there and maybe you want to start a business, maybe you see a beautiful girl and you want to approach her, it's easier when your T levels aren't low. And I also recommend, like, pretty much any man, especially if you're 25 to 35, at least go to the doctor and get your first blood test. Yeah. Just to kind of see a baseline.
Where you at?
You could have some guy that's at 500 that feels great. You could have another man that's at 500 that feels like shit. Yeah. There is an individual thing. Now, the difference is if someone's normally at 700 and they go down to 500 because of stress, they're going to feel bad. And if someone's kind of level is 500, and again, testosterone within the natural range isn't everything for packing on muscle. If you're already at 600 and you get your T levels up to 800, is that going to help you gain muscle way faster? Probably not. Testosterone isn't the only important sort of link to muscle growth. There's androgen receptor density. That's actually arguably more important for muscle growth than having an extra 20-30% more testosterone. Have you seen some of these guys that go on high amounts of gear that still look like shit?
Yo,
like,
you're taking drugs to look like that?
I was never even suspect you at all.
Everybody's different, man. Some people die if they eat a peanut, Everybody's individual variant.
For sure. So the benefits really of getting your T levels dialed is, yes, if you're really low, 300, you get to 600, you're going to be able to build and support a much better physique. But if you're already at 600, you get to 700, 800, it's more of a subtle benefit. But I find you get more energy, more confidence. You sleep better. Yeah, the energy. Yeah,
bro. Like, it's important for young guys to do it naturally. Like, I waited until I feel like there was nothing else I could do. Because once you go on, you want forever.
And you can maintain really solid T levels and a very solid physique in your 20s, obviously your 30s. There seems to be some of this thing called sort of reverse puberty, where as a man, when you kind of go from like the late 40s, early 50s onward, it's much harder to have a lot of strength and muscle. Yeah. So if there is a time where someone was like, they wanted to optimize themselves, it would be kind of in the 50s. And honestly, the most fun benefit of getting your T levels dialed to me is like your sex drive is linked to ambition. If you have a bigger libido, a bigger sex drive, that same part of you you can channel that into goals. When you get your T levels up, and the first thing you'll notice when your T levels drop is your sex drive down.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm pretty lean right now, but when I've gotten super lean, I feel it. I'm like, huh. So you don't want to get too lean, but the point is that when you get your T levels up, you have this amazing sex drive. That's like a secret weapon as a man. When you have a very high sex drive, don't watch any porn, because some guys will just waste all that energy and they'll be putting into porn and playing video games. I think that like if you channel that, you can use that to better yourself. If you wake up and you don't feel like I want to tap. If you wake up and you're just like, oh, Tuesday, oh, Wednesday. When I wake out of bed, I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, you know,
my shit was too high in my 20s, man. I was a menace. It was too much.
It was
intense.
Since the 80s, men have lost their mojo, okay? Testosterone down 40%. All these environmental toxins, even having your phone right in your next to your balls. I keep my phone in airplane mode literally all the time. I'm on airplane mode, okay? You cannot reach me 90% of the day. I'm untouchable. I do that for my mind. I do that also because I don't want that radiation next to me. Our testosterone levels are getting attacked from all angles, from from booze, the phthalates, even the way they're telling men to behave. They're trying to take away your masculinity. They're trying to take the strong males and women and just reduce the polarity. The mojo's been gone, and I'm here to bring the mojo back. So take every step in this video seriously. If you guys want to try the mojo before it sells out, I love this stuff. There's not a better supplement to support testosterone levels on the market than this. Everything I talked about is inside the Kino Mojo. I think that having high testosterone levels is a secret advantage in life. It is a secret advantage in life that's going to give you that extra drive, that extra ambition, that extra leadership. It's going to make taking risks more fun. It's going to make effort feel more fun. And it's going to make life a lot better. So you want to get those levels. If you best thing to do is get your levels checked now. Take this for 2-3 months and see where your levels are, as well as doing those steps. You're going to find you can actually get your levels to a much healthier level.